What if I told you that floating somewhere in the world's oceans right now is a piece of American engineering so advanced, so powerful, that it cost more than the entire GDP of most nations? $13 billion. That's more than NASA's entire annual budget. More than some countries spend on their military in a decade. And it's all wrapped up in a single ship. This isn't just any ship. This is America's newest supercarrier. And the story of how it came to be will change everything you think you know about naval power. For over 2 centuries, whoever controlled the seas controlled the world. The British knew it, the Romans knew it, and America has known it since 1775. But in 2017, something extraordinary happened. The U.S. Navy didn't just launch another aircraft carrier. They launched the future. The USS Gerald R. Ford represents the most significant leap in naval technology since the transition from sail to steam. Built over 13 years in the shipyards of Virginia, this floating fortress was designed to do something no ship in history had ever done before. But here's what they don't tell you in the headlines. This ship almost didn't happen. And the reasons why will shock you. The year was 2005. America's Nimitz-class carriers had ruled the seas for 3 decades, but military strategists saw a problem on the horizon. The world was changing. New threats were emerging, and America's enemies were getting smarter, faster, more dangerous. Traditional carriers needed massive crews, over 5,000 sailors just to keep one ship operational. Every extra person meant more food, more sleeping quarters, more complexity, more ways things could go wrong. So military engineers asked an impossible question. What if we could build a carrier that was more powerful, more efficient, and needed fewer people to run it? What if we could revolutionize naval warfare itself? The answer would require technology that didn't exist yet. Systems so advanced, they seemed like science fiction, and a price tag that would make politicians sweat. But America had done impossible things before. And in 2008, despite economic turmoil that nearly brought the nation to its knees, Congress made a decision that would echo through history. They said yes to the impossible. Newport News Shipbuilding in Virginia became the site of the most complex construction project in naval history. This wasn't just building a ship, this was building tomorrow. The Ford would be longer than 3 football fields and taller than a 20-story building. But size wasn't the revolution. The revolution was in the details. For 70 years, aircraft carriers used steam catapults to launch planes. The Ford would use something completely different: electromagnetic energy. The electromagnetic aircraft launch system could launch a 30-ton fighter jet from 0 to 150 miles per hour in less than 3 seconds. The landing system was equally revolutionary. Instead of hydraulic cables that needed constant maintenance, the Ford used electromagnetic systems that could catch a landing aircraft with computer-controlled precision. The ship's island, that towering structure where the bridge sits, was completely redesigned. New radar systems could track hundreds of targets simultaneously. Communication arrays could coordinate with forces anywhere on Earth. But perhaps most impressive was what you couldn't see. Automated systems would handle everything from ammunition loading to food preparation. The ship would need 600 fewer crew members than a Nimitz-class carrier. For 13 years, American workers poured their skill and pride into every rivet, every wire, every system. They were building more than a ship. They were building a symbol of American ingenuity. But by 2016, something was going wrong. Very wrong. The original budget was $10.5 billion, then $11 billion, then $12 billion, then $13 billion. Each delay meant more money, more questions, more doubt. Critics called it a boondoggle, a floating white elephant, the most expensive mistake in naval history. New technology meant new problems. The electromagnetic catapults weren't ready. The arresting systems needed redesign. The advanced elevators that moved aircraft from hangar to deck kept breaking down. Military officials defended every dollar. This wasn't just a ship, they argued. This was America's future, floating on the waves. While America struggled with its revolutionary design, other nations were building conventional carriers. China launched 2. Britain prepared to launch its largest carrier ever. Russia announced ambitious naval plans. The question wasn't just whether the Ford would work. The question was whether America was falling behind in the race for naval supremacy. But in the shipyards of Virginia, workers kept building because they understood something the critics didn't. Sometimes the most important victories are the hardest ones to win. November 9th, 2013. After years of delays, cost overruns, and criticism, the USS Gerald R. Ford was ready for launch. Susan Ford Bales, daughter of President Gerald Ford, stood ready to christen the ship named for her father, the same president who had served on a carrier during World War II. But here's what they didn't announce that day. Here's the secret that changes everything. The Ford wasn't just evolutionary. today. It was revolutionary in ways the public was never told. Hidden within its hull were systems so advanced, so classified, that even today, most details remain secret. The ship could operate in electronic warfare environments that would blind older carriers. Its radar systems could see threats that previous generation ships couldn't detect. Its communication arrays could coordinate attacks with precision weapons anywhere on the planet. But most importantly, the Ford was designed for aircraft that didn't exist yet when construction began. The F-35 Lightning II, stealth fighters that could appear and disappear from enemy radar like ghosts. Together, the Ford and its stealth aircraft represented something unprecedented in naval history. A carrier battle group that could project American power while remaining nearly invisible to enemy forces. $13 billion wasn't the cost of one ship. It was the investment in America's naval dominance for the next 50 years. Today, the USS Gerald R. Ford patrols waters around the globe. Its revolutionary systems, once plagued by problems, now operate with the precision their designers promised. The ship that critics called a mistake has become the flagship of American naval power. Other nations study its capabilities. Allies request its protection. Enemies fear its presence. A new generation of American sailors operates technology their predecessors could never have imagined. They launch aircraft with the power of lightning. They track threats across vast oceans. They project American strength to every corner of the earth. The USS Gerald R. Ford cost $13 billion to build. But you can't put a price on freedom. You can't calculate the value of peace through strength. You can't measure the worth of American innovation, pushing the boundaries of what's possible. Every dollar invested in this floating fortress was an investment in America's future. Every rivet placed was a statement to the world. Every system installed was a promise to defend liberty wherever waves meet sky. Because America's true power isn't measured in the steel of its ships or the sophistication of its weapons. America's power lives in the unwavering determination to build tomorrow, today. No matter the cost, no matter the critics, no matter the odds.